Everybody thought NBA Youngboy beat up a fan in Colombia, but the truth? It's way crazier than that. What really happened that night flipped his whole image upside down. The crowd froze. Youngboy dropped the mic, and for a second, everyone thought it was about to go down. But what happened next, no one expected. They said Youngboy fought a fan in Colombia, clips everywhere, chaos online. But here's the part nobody's showing you. The real story behind that viral video. Why do Youngboy shows always explode into chaos? It's not luck, it's psychology, and what happened in Colombia proves it. At a Youngboy show, disrespect doesn't slide. That night in Colombia, one fan tried and learned why Youngboy's name carries weight wherever he goes. I saw you know who I mean. I had to step in for a second and calm myself. Dude tossed one more thing up and Youngboy lost it. Throw one more thing and I'm coming down, he said, and then he did the Mayweather special. Clips of NBA Youngboy beating a fan just exploded online, and people are freaking out. But there's more to this than the one viral video. What happened that night ties into a long pattern: fights, disrespect, and the message Youngboy sends at his shows: don't test him. Here's the full picture. On October 9th, 2025, at the Colonial Life Arena in Columbia, South Carolina, Youngboy Never Broke Again was performing as part of his Mesa tour. It was one of 2 sold-out nights, his biggest tour in years after legal trouble and house arrest. Security was intense, police on site, no bags allowed, not even clear ones, no ski masks or face coverings. They expected things could get rowdy, and they were right. Thousands packed the arena, singing along and hyped for the set. Then a handful of fans started throwing stuff, food, shirts, random objects at the stage. It was immature and dangerous, but the moment that crossed the line was when someone tossed a green flag. Youngboy saw it, the music cut, and the place went quiet. He walked to the edge of the stage, stared at whoever was throwing things, and warned them to stop before he came down. That wasn't an empty threat. People in the crowd knew Youngboy well enough to take it seriously. When he said he'd come get the person, the crowd reacted because his shows have a history of turning physical fast. This Columbia incident isn't even the wildest thing that's happened at his concerts. Over the years there have been fights, attempts to snatch chains, and moments where his crew or friends jumped into the crowd. Those events made Youngboy's shows infamous for things going off the rails. To understand why Columbia blew up so quickly, you have to see the pattern. Back in December 2018, also in South Carolina, Youngboy was getting close to fans during a show, riding on a security guard's shoulders like he used to do. The energy was electric until someone reached up and tried to yank his chain. As soon as he felt it, Youngboy jumped down and hit the guy without hesitation. The arena instantly erupted into a melee. People pushed and fought, security scrambled, and chaos took over. After security pulled things apart and Youngboy returned to the stage, the guy who tried to steal the chain didn't shut up. He kept heckling from the floor. Quando Rondo, who was on stage with Youngboy, stopped the music and challenged the crowd: speak up or shut up. The chain snatcher kept mouthing off, and Youngboy ran into the crowd to go after him. Security couldn't stop him. Phones were out, people ran for cover, and the show couldn't continue. It basically ended there. Videos from that night spread everywhere. TMZ and every major hip-hop site covered it. That December 2018 incident wasn't a one-off. Other shows saw people try to grab his jewelry. Philly had episodes like that not long before the 2018 fight. Every time something like that happens, it reinforces the image. Respect Youngboy, and you might get more than a dirty look. So when the Columbia clip hit social media, people didn't react like it was surprising. They knew the context. A performer who lives what he raps about, a crowd that sometimes gets reckless, and a past full of onstage and in-crowd confrontations. That's why the arena went silent the second he warned the fan, and why the viral moment felt inevitable to those who follow him. This story is about more than one clip. It's about a pattern. It's about street mentality meeting superstardom, and what happens when fans test an artist with a reputation for reacting. The Columbia moment is just the latest chapter, but it connects to a long history of incidents that make Youngboy's concerts dangerous and unpredictable. Grab your blanket, there's more to unpack if you want. Every major altercation, why these things keep happening, and what followed after the green flag moment that set the whole crowd off. But the short version is this: at a Youngboy show, don't throw things. Don't try to grab his chain. And don't be surprised when he or someone close to him answers back. At one of his shows, somebody tried it, and Youngboy didn't hold back. He grabbed the mic and warned the crowd loud and clear: "You snatch my chain, I'ma beat the life out you. Try it if you want to." He wasn't joking. He gave everyone fair warning, but some fans still didn't listen. And they learned the hard way that when it comes to his jewelry and his respect, Youngboy never plays around. Now here's where things take a wild turn. This moment showed that Youngboy didn't always have to get his hands dirty. He had people around him who were more than ready to step in. Enter DD Dog, one of Youngboy's closest homies and a guy known for being what the streets call a crash dummy. If you're not familiar with that term, it basically means someone who'll do anything for their people. No hesitation, no second thoughts. They jump first and think later. Consequences don't matter when loyalty's on the line. And DD Dog? He fit that role perfectly. This incident went down at another one of Youngboy's concerts, and it played out like something from a movie. The crowd was going crazy. Everything seemed smooth, until one fan started doing too much. Whether he was heckling, talking trash, or throwing stuff, details vary, but what's clear is that Youngboy noticed. Instead of pausing the show or confronting the fan himself, this time Youngboy just gave a look to DD Dog. That was all it took. DD Dog jumped straight off the stage, pushed through the crowd, found the fan, and started swinging right there in the middle of the concert. And here's the craziest part, the music didn't stop. Youngboy kept performing while DD Dog was in the pit handling business like it was part of the show. The crowd lost its mind. Some people were screaming, some were recording, others didn't even know what to do. It wasn't security dealing with a rowdy fan, it was Youngboy's own crew member putting hands on somebody mid-performance. In the streets, that's called loyalty. Your people handle the drama so you don't have to catch a case or interrupt the show. But Youngboy's situation was different because this wasn't a small club somewhere off the map. These were big arenas, thousands of people watching, cameras everywhere. Security eventually had to drag DD Dog back toward the stage, but the message had already been delivered. If you come to a Youngboy show looking for trouble, you're not just dealing with him, you're dealing with the whole crew. That's what makes Youngboy's concerts so different from other rap shows. It's not just security doing their job, it's his actual people getting involved, treating every performance like it's still the streets. For Youngboy and his team, there's no line between real life and stage life. The same energy follows them wherever they go. The DD Dog situation went viral, of course. Memes popped up everywhere, people joking about how you can't even heckle at a Youngboy concert without catching a fade from his entourage. But beneath the jokes was a serious reality. This kind of stuff could have landed him in real legal trouble. If that fan had been seriously hurt, Youngboy could have faced lawsuits or even criminal charges for ordering an attack. The fan himself might have been held responsible too. But that's the thing about Youngboy. He doesn't think like a businessman trying to play it safe. He's always lived by a code, keep it real, no matter the risk. And that's exactly why his fans love him. In an era where so many rappers rap about things they've never actually lived, Youngboy feels authentic. He's not putting on an act for cameras or pretending to be someone else on stage. What you see is exactly what you get. That's why even when he gets in trouble, people still ride for him because he represents the raw, unfiltered version of street reality most rappers only talk about. And the DD Dog story? It's just one chapter in a long line of chaotic concert moments. Take Richmond, Virginia. Back in 2018, another fight broke out during his performance. Video showed Youngboy swinging at someone in the crowd before security shut it down. Then there was Minnesota, where one of his security guards literally picked up a fan who threw something and tossed him back into the crowd, like a scene from WWE. The fan survived, but the energy that night was wild. And in North Carolina, a fan actually managed to snatch a chain off one of Youngboy's crew members. Youngboy stopped the whole show, grabbed the mic, and called out, "Whoever took that chain, that ain't his, that's mine. If you're about it, raise your hand." Of course, nobody did. But Youngboy made it clear it wasn't about the money, he could buy that chain 10 times over. It was about respect. That's the recurring theme in every story, the reason his fans both love and fear him. With Youngboy, it's never about the jewelry or the fame. It's always about principle. Because for him, the moment you cross that line, whether it's with words, a flag, or a chain, you're not just challenging the artist. You're challenging the man behind the music. For Youngboy, it's never been about chains or jewelry, it's about sending a message. He wants people to know they can't disrespect him and just walk away like nothing happened. That mindset showed up again in Los Angeles, just a month before the Columbia incident. It was September 2025 at the Crypto.com Arena. The place was packed, and everything seemed normal until a group of women in the crowd started fighting during his set. Youngboy stopped the show himself, trying to calm things down, telling everyone to chill and keep the peace. But while he was dealing with that, somebody else thought it'd be funny to start throwing stuff on stage. Big mistake. Youngboy snapped back, same tone as always. Throw one more thing and you'll get your face broken. Go ahead, try it. Once again, he made it clear disrespect wouldn't fly at his shows. And the pattern was obvious now. Youngboy was setting boundaries, one outburst at a time. But the Kansas City incident might be the wildest of all, and the most tragic, because this time, it didn't even involve Youngboy or his crew. A 14-year-old fan attacked a 66-year-old arena employee after being asked to sit in the right seat. Over something that small, the kid beat the man so badly, he ended up in the hospital with a broken nose, busted lip, and possible eye damage. The victim, Thomas Schlenga, had to go through surgery, and his family launched a GoFundMe to cover medical bills and lost wages. And here's the crazy, ironic part. That same night, Youngboy was being honored by the city for his Stop the Violence movement. They literally gave him a day in his name for promoting peace, while, inside that same venue, a teenager nearly beat an elderly man unconscious. Now, let's be real, Youngboy wasn't directly involved. He didn't order it or encourage it. But when something like that happens at your concert, it raises a bigger question. Why do incidents like this keep happening around him? That's where the psychology comes in. Why Youngboy's shows keep exploding into chaos. To understand this, you have to know his fan base. Most of Youngboy's fans are young, teenagers, and people in their early 20s. They grew up on his music. They see him as more than just an artist. He's a symbol, a survivor from the streets who actually lived the things he raps about. He's been to jail, been shot at, lost friends to violence, he's seen real pain. That raw authenticity is what people connect with. But it's also a double-edged sword. When you have an artist who came from the streets and still carries that same mindset into fame, it changes the whole atmosphere of his concerts. Fans show up expecting that same street energy. They come hyped, adrenaline pumping, ready for anything because they know Youngboy's reputation. His lyrics talk about not backing down, never letting disrespect slide, and staying dangerous no matter how rich you get. Now imagine thousands of people in one place, screaming those words together, surrounded by loud music, flashing lights, plus alcohol and drugs in the mix. It's the perfect setup for chaos. People get overconfident. They think it's all part of the show. They act tough for clout or to impress friends, until someone crosses the line and things turn real. But there's another layer most people miss. Over time, Youngboy himself has built a reputation for reacting on site. He's jumped into crowds, sent his crew after hecklers, and threatened people mid-performance. He's made it clear that violence isn't just possible at his shows, it's expected. And for some fans, that's exactly the thrill. They want to test him. They want to see if the stories are true. They treat it like a challenge. I was there when Youngboy snapped. I saw him jump off stage. It's like they're trying to prove they were part of a legendary moment, even if it means chaos. The crowd psychology behind it. When you're in a massive crowd, something changes in your brain. Psychologists call it mob mentality. Your sense of individuality fades, and you feel invisible. You think, they can't single me out, so you take risks you'd never take alone. Then there's the parasocial effect. Fans start feeling like they know Youngboy personally because his music is so real and emotional. They forget he's still a performer with boundaries. That mix of closeness, adrenaline, and anonymity creates a dangerous cocktail, especially in an environment where aggression is normalized. And here's the truth. Most of Youngboy's fans aren't actually from the streets. They're not gang members. They're regular kids who step into his world for a night and start cosplaying that lifestyle, acting like they're part of it until someone actually gets hurt. Then the fantasy ends, and the consequences hit: arrests, injuries, lawsuits, trauma, and canceled shows. They respect that he's real, even when it costs him money, shows, and opportunities. But that same realness keeps dragging him into situations that threaten everything he's built. Now back to the Columbia show, the moment that went viral. After Youngboy shouted, "Stop throwing that __, before I come down there and whoop your ass," the whole arena froze. Some fans screamed, others pulled out their phones, and everyone waited to see what he'd do next. The fan who was throwing things? He stopped instantly. Maybe he realized he'd gone too far. Maybe security started closing in. Or maybe he just didn't want to find out if Youngboy was serious. Whatever it was, he backed down. Youngboy stood there for a few seconds, scanning the crowd, making sure his point landed. Then he nodded like the message was clear and walked back to center stage. The DJ hit play, the lights shifted, and just like that, the show rolled on. No fight, no chaos, no blood, just tension that fizzled into relief. Both Columbia nights ended smoothly, and fans said he gave solid performances. But that short clip of his outburst? It took on a life of its own. Within hours, it was everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Millions of views, endless debates, and rumors flying that something bigger had gone down. Once again, the world wasn't talking about Youngboy's music or message, they were talking about his temper. When that clip of Youngboy calling out a fan in Colombia hit the internet, people lost their minds. Searches blew up with phrases like NBA Youngboy fights fan and Youngboy beats up fan in Colombia. Everyone was looking for a video of an actual fight, but there wasn't one. Because it never happened. What really happened was Youngboy setting a boundary, and that boundary being respected. He made it clear that disrespect has consequences, and the crowd understood. No punches thrown, no chaos, no security dragging anyone out. Just a moment where a message was sent, and everyone got it. But the fact that people expected a fight says everything about Youngboy's reputation. His history, the chain-snatching incident, the D-Dog situation, and all the other moments that went viral, built a certain image. So now, whenever he checks someone at a show, the internet automatically assumes it's about to get violent. That's how deep the connection between Youngboy and Chaos has become. It's both his power and his curse. His name alone brings intensity. Even when nothing happens, people talk like something did. He's built an image so strong that silence becomes news. But there's a bigger story here. This isn't just about concerts or viral clips. It's about the clash between authenticity and consequence, the struggle of staying true to your roots while living in a world that punishes you for it. Youngboy's Columbia moment proved something important. The fight everyone wanted to see didn't exist because he didn't let it happen. Maybe that's growth. Maybe it shows he's learning that sometimes you don't have to throw hands to prove a point. Sometimes your reputation speaks loud enough. His presence, his tone, his history, they carry weight on their own. Or maybe he just got lucky this time. Maybe that fan realized he was seconds away from crossing a dangerous line. Because, let's be honest, history says it could have gone differently. From the chain snatch in South Carolina to the D-Dog fight to this Columbia incident, there's been one constant. Youngboy doesn't let disrespect slide, no matter where he is or what's at stake. That mindset has earned him both respect and criticism. Some call it real, others call it reckless. But either way, it's undeniably him. And if you've ever been to one of his shows, you already know this isn't your typical concert. You don't come to a Youngboy show to chill and vibe. You come knowing there's an edge in the air, that anything could happen. It's raw, unpredictable, and real, just like the man himself. That's part of what makes fans love him. But it's also what makes Benny's nervous. Every time something happens, or even almost happens, it gets harder for promoters to take the risk. Cancellations pile up, security tightens, and the cost of being real starts hitting the business side hard. So the big question now is, where does this go next? Can Youngboy keep touring with this kind of reputation? Will venues keep pulling out, or will he learn to handle things differently? Or will he double down and keep that same energy no matter what it costs him? And beyond Youngboy himself, what does this say about hip-hop concerts in general? This is what happens when street authenticity meets mainstream success, when a man refuses to change, even when the world tells him to. Loved by fans for keeping it real. Punished by the industry for the very same thing. The streets already knew this story. Now the world does too. And if you ever find yourself at a Youngboy show, remember one thing: come with respect or don't come at all.